Hi everybody, Camille here. If this is the first time you've been here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you are a repeat visitor, thank you so much for returning. I wanted to pull a few cards. Today is the Gemini full moon. Correction. Today is the Gemini new moon. And I made a post on Instagram. If you're interested in following me on there, it's same thing, Camille Walks with Spirits. But I made a post this morning and it included some journal prompts. And as I'm still trying to build my channel and get a vibe, I'm sorry, because it's been a long day full of readings and I am tired, so it's the end of my day. As I'm trying to get a feel for what kind of videos I want to do, what kind of content I want to create, what things, I always wonder, what do people really want to hear? What do people want to see? What are people interested in? But I also know that if it does not capture my attention and doesn't feel like something that I am called to do, I will not do it. So I don't necessarily want my channel to be a channel of pulling cards for collective readings, but maybe. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here this evening. Take what works, take what resonates, what feels like you should hold on to, whatever does not, let that go. If it feels like it's meant for you, if it resonates with you, then perhaps this very well may be a message. As a matter of fact, let me speak with intention and set that as the intention. If this is something that is supposed to, let the right people find this at the right time and it be the right message for whomever. So I'm going to use, and again, with the new moon in Gemini, and you're going to see me look down, looking at notes that I had, essentially looking at the Instagram post that I made. And discussing some of the journal prompts. I'm tired, people. My brain is having a hard time braining. I am absolutely starving, but I really wanted to get this done. Let's do this. So the deck, what can I say, people? This is real life. And one thing about me is I'm as real as it gets. So it's always going to be very genuine and authentic with me. And I don't edit. So it's a one take kind of a party. So either get it and keep going. So the deck that I'm using is a deck that I am falling so in love with this deck. It is, I know I made a video on it, I don't know if I posted it. It is the Mythos Tarot, but it is in small print, the Asphodelon Mythos Tarot. So here's the box. And I don't know, but what I'm thinking might have happened was there was two people in the world who happened to have a tarot deck called the Mythos Tarot, dealing with Greek mythology. Their deck came out, somebody beat them to the punch, whomever put their deck out first. So they had to kind of alter person 2 or person 1, whatever, had to change. So if you look up Mythos Tarot, you might get something that's very, very different artwork and imagery as opposed to this one. So it's the Asphodelon Mythos Tarot. And I believe I made a video. I believe I published it. I will look back and see if I did. But it is an absolutely beautiful deck. Yeah, I did a first impressions of it. So I've been working with it now maybe about a week and a half. And it is just, it's beautiful. There's the backs, we're not going to turn this into a review, Camille. And it does have the gorgeous gilding, which is, yeah, hands to them, because it's not flaking off. So very well produced. And so I'm going to pull some cards from this deck to, perhaps you can use these as journal prompts if you choose to, so you can do your own exploration with the questions that I pose. Or again, with the cards that I pull, maybe they will resonate for you. So here we go. So again, with it being the Gemini full moon, and today is June 6th, and the Lover's card, which is ruled by Gemini, and Roman numeral 6 in the major arcana. So I pulled that out, and that's the card that I made for the post to show. And in this deck, it is Persephone and Hades, with the beautiful pomegranate above, and the, mystical looking green orbs around, and the two of them in this embrace with their heads together. And I think that the imagery just says a lot in and of itself. For me, the Lover's card is oftentimes, appropriate to the title, The Lovers. It's so much broader than that for me as a reader. It is an energy of choice, decisions. It's about partnership. So for me, it has so much of an energy of who or what am I choosing? Who or what is choosing me? And does this make sense? Gemini, I am not an astrologer. That is not my jam. But Gemini is an energy that is, Geminis are spontaneous, they're impulsive. Geminis can oftentimes be very Peter Pan, like, oh my God, like, a very big kid energy, which can be fun because that opens up to being open-minded as an air sign that Gemini is. So open-minded, wanting to explore, wanting to learn, wanting to, fascinated by things. And oh my God, let's go do this. Oh my God, let's try this. Can't sit still. Everything has a time and a place. So there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. But if we're looking at partnerships, for me, it's about, there has to be this marriage between head and heart. And with this card, it's balancing logic, thinking. Geminis they want to read and they want to learn as much as they can. So it's a nod to needing to learn. And before we get into a partnership or a commitment, that's a very different thing than having a lover. Your lover can also be your partner, but sometimes your lover is just your lover. And so I love this beautiful image, and I love the fact that the creatrix chose Hades and Persephone. Because in and of itself, Hades and Persephone, there's a couple of different rabbit holes that story goes down. But either way, at the end of the day, with Persephone, there's so much about her story that has to do with choice. On the one hand, some stories are from the perspective, and I honestly don't know, but I do think this is the original story, is from the perspective of someone whose choice was taken from them. Hadn't gotten all the information. But then on the other hand, other stories, Gemini, two sides. On the other hand, it's said that she chose because she was originally Corey before she was Persephone. And Corey, the young maiden, was frolicking in the fields as one does. Some say Hades abducted her. Some say she made a choice to go with him because the connection to her mother, and her mother being a very, very overprotective mother. Either way, it's a perfect choice because it deals with choice and knowing your own mind. And so if you're going to enter into any kind of partnership, a business partnership, a friendship, a lover, a marriage, it's so much about knowing your own mind and knowing your own heart and getting the information as much as possible in order to make an informed choice. And from the perspective that this deck creator has drawn her imagery, it's clearly two people who are of the same mind, of the same heart, who are, I love that you see two arms, because again, that Gemini. And of course the pomegranate, which is interesting because it's 6. So it's very much half of this, half of that. I absolutely love this card. So when I made the post, I put the card down, said what I said. Hello, sir. Nope, you can't get on my lap right now, dude. So here's some points to ponder. And like I said, and he's on my lap because that's what cats do, whatever the hell they want. Oh boy. So points to ponder. What inner dialogue have I been having, and how can I look at those topics from a different perspective? So let's see. What inner dialogue needs to be discussed at this point for the collective? Inner dialogue. I swear this cat's probably a Gemini. No, oh, I love you. You can sit on the chair right next to me. Okay, what inner dialogue have I been having, and how can I look at those topics from a different perspective? Page of Coins, and I am still learning this deck. I have pretty basic knowledge of the Greek gods and goddesses. So I might even refer to the guidebook, but this is the Page of Coins, and this is Iris, who brings the rainbow. Inner dialogue that we may have been having is taking perhaps first initial steps to get out of our comfort zone, taking initial steps to perhaps feeling more confident in how we broach certain topics or new ways of discussing them. This also gets into another one of the prompts, because pages are about communication, and our Page of Pentacles tends to be someone who oftentimes needs a lot of feeling grounded and supported. There's an innocence. And so with this Gemini energy and this new moon, where can we feel more sure-footed, more grounded, or where do we need to have conversations with the people who are our partners in our life, and whatever dynamic that partner means, of establishing new feelings of security, new projects, new learning new skills, starting off small and slow. Prompt number 2, how can I communicate my thoughts, needs, or opinions more clearly? How can we, whoever finds this, communicate thoughts, needs, and opinions more clearly? Well, that got spicy quick. Queen of Swords. And I am going to actually reach for the guidebook. I love this. God, I love this deck. Look at this image. And it's interesting because the Queen of Swords as an air sign, and no one is more direct than a female air sign. Gemini? Aquarius? So for me, with this image, it is saying, yes, stand confidently in my power of speaking my mind very clearly. So this is saying communicate thoughts, needs, and opinions in a very bold, direct, audacious way. But also be mindful that sometimes words can cause a lot of damage, or the way that we say things can cause a lot of damage. If it's a bridge we're willing to burn, then burn that bitch to the ground. But the Queen of Swords, I find oftentimes is an energy of someone who does not have as much diplomacy or tact that may be needed in certain situations. And if I'm not wrong, is she carrying an axe? Oh no, she is carrying a cat o' nine tails there. So being very, very bold, very, very direct. And again, standing confidently in our power, your power, my power, our power, to be, and to have thought. Queen of Swords is never going to ask a question that she doesn't already know the answer to, or hasn't already done her homework on. So let's just take a look at what goddess this is. And please forgive, I'm sure I will be butchering the Greek pronunciations here. Irenaeus, E-R-I-N-Y-E-S. We're going to say Irenaeus. Honesty, skepticism, and directness. The Irenaeus eyes, because there are 3 heads, eyes pierce into the souls of the newly departed, laying bare every sin. So this is very much a very strong, dominant energy that's telling us be very, very clear, very specific, and very direct. And be mindful that sometimes you maybe need to be a little bit more diplomatic, because for me, the Queen of Swords, she plays chess, not checkers. So it is an energy that may be inviting us to pause, to think, are my words going to cause more damage, in contrast to the bigger thing that I want to accomplish? Am I okay with that? And if so, strike like you mean it and make them say, yes, ma'am. She does have a cat o' nine tails, let's be honest. Next prompt. What new things have I been thinking about, exploring, or learning that is now time to begin? Because new moons, we want to sow the seeds. It's starting. It's the very beginning. It's planting those seeds. And it's interesting that we did have a page that came out already. So that's a nod to learning or education. So what new things might you all have been thinking about, exploring, or learning that is now time to begin? Interesting. Second 3-headed, I won't say monster, but individual. And this is Cerberus, who stands at the gates of hell. So with this King of Pentacles energy, perhaps it's time to start learning how to, again, stand your ground, stand your guard. Perhaps you've been thinking about learning about ways to create long-term financial success or stability. Perhaps exploring concepts around loyalty and commitment, or who protects you, who do you protect, who is worthy or deserving of that loyalty. Where can you make room for dialogue where there is an opposing opinion? The two minds of Gemini. There's two sides to each story, but don't be two-faced. The Fool, as represented by Corey. So this is Persephone before she went, willingly or not, but before she went to the underworld. So perhaps making room for dialogue where there may be people's opinions about new ventures, new risky things that you are enamored by, but perhaps don't have enough experience. And then being able to stand up and say, okay, I respect your opinion. I'm willing to listen to your opinion if that is the case. And why would you be willing to listen to that person's opinion? What things about them lend themselves to you perhaps listening to them if they say, oh, that's check, you might not have the you know what to cash. It could be let me look at the image momentarily here. People who do have our best interest at heart, and at least listening to what wisdom they have is still what I'm getting. And still saying, but perhaps this is the journey that I have to take. Because the narcissus flower is associated with Hades. It's kind of where it all started. So I realize I have so many journal prompts and this is already at 23 minutes, so. Which, you know, I need to get over that. It is what it is. If you want to watch, watch, please. I hope you do. If you don't, you know, you have things to do. I'm realizing I need to, again, kind of like what it's saying, make choices while considering others, but also ultimately the end decision lies with me. So yeah, there's tarot in real time for you. So I'm not going to do all of the journal prompts because I'm realizing I had made a lot more than I had realized. But what does my idea, what does your idea of partnership look like? One flipped over. Okay. So two actually flipped out. And we have the Star and we have the Empress. And this is Aphrodite. Upside down Aphrodite. This is, sorry guys, these sleeves, they pop up. And then when they go up, they go all the way up to my neck and they're uncomfortable. So this is Aphrodite for the Star, who is a fellow air sign to Gemini, Aquarius. And we have the Empress, who is Demeter, who is Corey / Persephone's mother. So what does my idea of partnership look like? Demeter was such a loving, devoted mother. She carried, this was her baby. She was the goddess of, or is the goddess of, the fields, the grain, the flora, life. And so that energy of Empress energy of creating an environment that fosters growth and stability that can be sustained, that growth that can be sustained for a long period of time, but nurturing it. So a nurturing, loving partnership where there's so much care and a feeling of safety and sanctuary and home, while also allowing for freedom, because good God, Aquarians, their own independence and their own freedom. A nod back to that Queen of, oh my gosh, yeah, both of them. So I love how tarot works, because now we have a nod to air sign energy that came up with the Queen of Swords and the Star card, and so much of that earth energy of our king, our page of pentacles, king of pentacles, and our empress who's ruled by Taurus. So partnership with these elements that are showing up in these cards of earth and air is this balance between the grounded, stable, firmly rooted, supportive energy, a commitment, but also the commitment that is balanced out with that freedom. You know, you don't own me. That energy of, I still can think for myself. I still will speak my own mind. Sorry, the cat and I both heard something weird outside. That I will stand up for myself. I will defend myself. I will seek my own autonomy. I will think about things that may not be conventional, and I won't be silenced. I mean, the wind has to be free to move. So much about partnerships are balancing those energies. And there is definitely a way to do that without being that smothering kind of energy, so that at the end of the day, two people choose each other, or a person chooses that job or career because there is reciprocity, there is give and take. It's something that passionately is calling them to the person, place, or thing, but also they've done the work, they've done the homework to know who they are. So you doing the work of knowing, but who am I? So that I can make choices based on things that do align with me, that make common sense. So much of this Lover's card is, again, knowledge of self before making a commitment. Because in some myths with Persephone and Hades, he did not tell her the truth. She didn't have all of the information when she ate the pomegranate seeds, and then she was forced to stay in the underworld until her mother threw an absolute, complete hissy fit, as a mother logically would do, and forced Zeus to cut a deal so that she could spend 6 months topside with her mother, and then the other 6 months she would have to return to the underworld. But some myths say that she did not have all the information, but it was not because Hades hadn't told it to her. She was looking for something to eat. She was eating a meal and she ate pomegranate seeds, and it so happened to be 6, and then she had to stay, but that she would have chosen him anyway. And what's also coming to me now is, where are any of you in situations where it seems like an impossible choice? Where you're being pulled between two things, two people, putting you in the middle and forcing you to make a choice. And this is asking us, can we step back and make a choice without the pressure of, how's it going to affect this person at my own sacrifice? What choices at the end of the day do I need to be able to step back and say, I can stand by and live with my choices because I made the best choice I could with the information I had at the time. So, happy new moon in Gemini, everybody. I hope that this message finds you. And, you know, I would even say whenever, this could still be a fantastic reading spread. And you could also journal, take notes on this, then come back and look back when it is the Gemini full moon, which I don't know when that will be. I guess in 6 months from now, probably, I don't know. But whenever the Gemini full moon, it'll probably be in November, maybe. Told you, not an astrologer. But looking back, if we journal now, then when the Gemini full moon comes up, we can look back and say, okay, where have I progressed? What can I see that has played out based on what I journaled on back then? And then, you know, a check-in time to give ourselves the credit for the growth that we've made, or to see where we need to make some adjustments moving forward. So, blessings to everybody. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.